Welcome everyone. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation on mastering the art of punctuating titles. Our focus today is on grammar, specifically title punctuation. We'll explore how to correctly punctuate titles to make your writing clear and professional. So, let's dive in and make punctuation second nature when it comes to titles. Let's take a moment to understand the difference between a whole work and a part. It's really important to be able to distinguish these because it helps us identify the nature of the work we're dealing with right away. Recognizing whether we're looking at a complete piece or just a segment influences how we approach, analyze, and interpret it. So why does this matter? Well, in many fields, whether it's art, literature, or any project management, knowing whether you're working with a whole or a part sets the foundation for everything that follows. It ensures we're on the same page and helps us make better decisions from the start. By mastering this distinction, we can streamline our workflow, improve clarity, and ultimately produce better results. This understanding is a key piece of the puzzle as we move forward in this presentation, emphasizing the importance of quickly identifying the type of work we're dealing with. All right, let's talk about how we handle shorter and longer works when it comes to formatting. For shorter works, like titles of articles, poems, or songs, we use quotation marks to set them apart. It's a simple way to indicate they're smaller pieces within a larger work. Now, when we're dealing with longer works, think books, movies, or plays, the rules change a bit. Instead of quotation marks, we typically use italics or underlining to highlight these titles. This helps distinguish them clearly from shorter works and makes our writing more organized. Notice the difference here? Quotation marks are for the small, shorter items, and italics or underlining are for the big, longer ones. Keeping this straight is key to clear, professional writing. It also ties into the overall theme of proper formatting, making sure your audience understands exactly what you're referencing, without confusion. Let's talk about how we handle titles and proper names in our writing. When referencing books, movies, plays, magazines, or TV shows, we usually emphasize them through italics or underlining. This helps our readers instantly recognize that we're talking about a specific work. Now, an important point to remember is punctuating longer works correctly. For example, when you mention a movie or a book in your sentence, the punctuation should follow the style rules, like italics or underlining, so everything stays clear and consistent. This approach not only keeps your writing professional, but it also makes your references stand out, connecting to the larger theme of clear, effective communication. When you're clear about these conventions, your audience easily understands which works you're discussing, making your message more impactful. Now, let's take a look at some examples of longer works. When we think about plays, Hamlet is a prime example. It's a classic that explores complex themes like revenge, madness, and mortality. Moving on to magazines, National Geographic stands out because of its in-depth articles and stunning visuals that educate us about the world. For movies, The Wizard of Oz is a great example. It combines storytelling with visual spectacle and has become a cultural icon. And when it comes to books, A Wrinkle in Time by Madeline L. Ingle is a wonderful example of science fiction and fantasy woven together to explore themes of love, courage, and the power of the imagination. These examples help us see how longer works can span different formats, whether it's a play, magazine, film, or novel, and each offers unique ways to explore and communicate complex ideas. Recognizing these helps us appreciate the richness of long-form storytelling and its importance in engaging audiences deeply over time. This connects to our overall theme of understanding different types of works and their role in shaping our perspectives. On this slide, we're focusing on different types of shorter works that we often encounter in writing. First, we have articles and poems. These are typically brief but impactful pieces that can convey a lot of meaning in just a few words. Then, there are short stories, which are a bit longer than poems and articles, but still concise enough to be read in a single sitting. Now, a key point here is the use of quotation marks around titles. When we're mentioning these shorter works, we always put the titles in quotation marks, like The Road Not Taken, or a short story. This helps us clearly distinguish these works from larger pieces like books or movies. Finally, I want to highlight that these are considered shorter works, and understanding how to correctly cite and reference them is crucial in both academic and creative writing. Recognizing the differences in format and presentation helps us communicate more effectively and respect the original author's intentions. This ties into our overall theme of mastering proper writing conventions and citation practices. Let's take a closer look at slide 7, which features the phrase poker face. This term is often associated with maintaining a neutral expression, especially in situations where emotions might otherwise reveal your true feelings. It's a concept that ties into the broader themes of expression and perception, which are central to our discussion today. Moving on, we see the word song and the title, The First Day of School. Songs like this can evoke strong emotions and memories, serving as a backdrop to our understanding of personal experience and cultural expression. Next, there's the chapter titled Farewell to the Enchanted City. This suggests a narrative of departure or change, perhaps symbolizing the end of a chapter and the beginning of something new. It reminds us that storytelling often involves transitions, which are crucial for growth and reflection. Following that, we have an article called Mending Wall. This piece explores themes of boundaries, relationships, and the human tendency to build barriers, both literal and metaphorical. It encourages us to think about how we connect or disconnect with others. Finally, the slide references poems and examples of short works. These brief but powerful pieces distill complex ideas into concise language, emphasizing the importance of economy of words in effective communication. Overall, this slide highlights different forms of expression: music, storytelling, essays, and poetry, all of which serve to deepen our understanding of human emotions and interactions. Each element contributes to the overarching theme of how we communicate and interpret the world around us. All right, let's look at this slide. We have a couple of statements and some questions to spot the errors. The first one says, "My dad's favorite poem is Where the Sidewalk Ends," and it's marked as incorrect with no and quotes. The reason this might be flagged is because Where the Sidewalk Ends is actually a book of poetry by Shel Silverstein, not just a poem. So it's more accurate to say it's a book, not a single poem. Next, we see, is this correct? Yes, it's a book. This confirms that the previous statement is correct because Where the Sidewalk Ends is indeed a book, which contains multiple poems. Then there's, I just finished reading To Kill a Mockingbird for English class, which is marked as incorrect with the prompt spot the error. Here, the potential mistake could be a common confusion. Perhaps the book is being misremembered or misrepresented. But in fact, To Kill a Mockingbird is a novel by Harper Lee, widely studied in English classes. Overall, this slide emphasizes the importance of paying attention to details, whether it's identifying whether something is a poem or a book, or remembering the correct titles. The key point here is that understanding what exactly we're referring to, like distinguishing between a poem and a book, helps us avoid errors and communicate more accurately. This ties into the broader theme of the presentation, which is about critical thinking and careful attention to detail in both reading and speaking. Spotting these errors isn't just about grammar, it's about understanding content and context, which is essential in effective communication. Let's take a closer look at how different types of text formatting can convey meaning and set the tone. On this slide, we see examples of underlined words like magazine and sports illustrated, which often highlight titles or emphasize importance. Then we have quotes, such as quotes, which are typically set off to show direct speech or cited material. Moving on, there's a poem, specifically after Apple PICKING, which can evoke mood and imagery when formatted distinctly. Next, we see italics used for movie and finding any MO, usually to denote titles of works like films, books, or artworks. Finally, the practice section, You Decide, encourages us to apply these formatting rules ourselves. Throughout this slide, the key idea is how different text styles, underline, quotes, italics, help us communicate clearly and effectively. They guide the reader's understanding, signaling which words or titles are special or need emphasis. This connects to the overall theme of our presentation, which is about mastering clear and engaging communication through proper formatting. Remember, choosing the right style isn't just about aesthetics, it's about making your message more precise and impactful. I can't believe it. Sometimes, it's just unbelievable how far we've come. This slide really captures that sense of surprise and excitement. When you see words like, "I can't believe it," it's a reminder to recognize those moments of achievement or unexpected results. Remember, emphasizing certain words helps to convey our genuine reactions and enthusiasm. So don't be afraid to highlight those big moments in your presentations. It's all about connecting with your audience and making your message memorable. And that's what this slide is all about, celebrating those surprising, impactful moments that make our journey special. Today, we're going to talk about different types of written and visual works that we often encounter. First, we have articles, which are typically shorter pieces that provide information or opinions on a specific topic. Then, there are songs and poems, which are creative works that express emotions and ideas through rhythm and language. When referencing these works, we use quotation marks to show that we're quoting someone or citing a title within a text. Magazines are another form of publication, usually containing articles, images, and advertisements, often aimed at a general audience. Movies are visual storytelling works that combine acting, visuals, and sound to entertain or inform. Books are longer, more detailed works that can cover a wide range of subjects or stories. We also need to understand the difference between italics or underline, which are used to emphasize titles or important terms in a text. Short works like articles, poems, or essays are usually brief and focused, while long works, such as novels or comprehensive reports, are more extensive and detailed. As a quick summary, recognizing these different types of works helps us understand how to cite, reference, or analyze them properly, which is essential in any academic or professional setting. Connecting all these points, remember that each form has its own rules for presentation and citation, but all contribute to the rich landscape of communication and storytelling. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention and engagement. Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a fun question. How do you punctuate the title of your favorite movie? Think about it. Do you use quotation marks, italics, or maybe underline? The key takeaway here is that punctuation matters, especially in titles, because it helps convey the correct meaning and adds clarity. Remember, proper punctuation isn't just about rules. It's about making your writing clear and professional. So, as you continue practicing your writing skills, keep in mind how punctuation can make a big difference. Thanks again for being such a great audience, and I hope you enjoyed this journey through punctuation as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you.